something. Secure it. Right here. Try this one.
Okay, this is going to be the one.
Try to minimize your movement when you go downstairs. Try not to shake something. I'm there, like it sounds like an atom bomb from the rustling. Try to walk slowly and stiff as possible without rustling.
On September 5th, 1998, at the Million Youth March, Harlem, New York was under siege by New York Police Department. What transpired was a hostile environment set by Slayer Mayor Giuliani, with the media and newscasters acting in concert for a blanket wave of misinformation and disinformation and exaggerations and underrating of the true number of supporters of the Million Youth March. It was a cross-section of men, women, and children and newborn babies. There were 30 snipers on 3 different rooftops with binoculars, videotape cameras, as well as other 400mm cameras. What occurred was a situation that should not be tolerated by any people as civilized as we are. Let's go back and let's see what the people of Harlem have to say about what transpired. Follow us. Follow me. Yeah, okay. Okay.
That's it. Oh, now the call.
Okay. Excuse me? Now we're putting out our own videotape on this. Okay, basically it's gonna be floating around. Just look for the street vendors in Queens, look at the black stores, go into the black stores. It's gonna be in the stores. Okay.
There's your ending.
With this ending, I'm coming up on your face closer.
Okay, now, do you want me to get it exactly like I see it or get the essence of it?
Get the essence of it.
Okay. No, that's it. What is done to Khallid in the town?
You can do it my way, you can do it your way.
I mean, I'm going to get most of it in there. I'm going to mention the key points. I'm gonna get the essence of it. Plus, basically, I think you're gonna like it. You know, it's not gonna go away from what you want covered.
Let me get a shot on you so I can position this. Stand where you're gonna be.
Yeah, you can go through.
Thank you.
So, what transpired at Harlem, targeting so
Keep it at 6. It's either hard or not. Thank you.
So, what occurred with Khallid Muhammad and the other Harlem citizens, as well as many other supporters from throughout the United States on that specialized historical event, was a demonstration of the New World Order. Even though it seems that only a specialized elite group of blacks and Hispanics were targeted, believe me, the masses will be also affected devastatingly by this new world satanic regime. We are under siege. Harlem was under siege. And the siege continues until we as a people wake up and stop oppression.
when you either move fully,
You see,
you either move fully or you stood still. You move fully off the screen or you stood still. And when you move off the screen, move off the screen. Don't have an arm dangling in the screen. It don't look right. But that was a beautiful take.
okay, there's no way you can cut that and maybe.
No, because it's going to be choppy. You know, I like to fade to black. You know.
Okay, okay.
You know.
One more time.
You freeze.
I'll knock it out this time. It's gonna be a total knockout. This next take. Number 7.
Yep.
Righteous number. It's gonna be knocked out.
All right, so.
So, what occurred and targeted Khalid Muhammad, the Harlem citizens of New York, and many other supporters from around the country was a demonstration of the New World Order, the new satanic order, where seemingly, for appearances, only a targeted, specialized group. But in actuality, it will affect the masses of the world on a global scale. Let's see what the siege is all about. We need to oppose the siege. The New World Order is a satanic order. And people like Slayer.
Stop.
Okay, thank you.
You know what you said?
I lost focus anyhow.
Let's see, as if we were going for the first time.
Yeah.
This is the wind-up.
Okay.
This is the wrap-up. This is the end of the show. All right, man, you're good.
So,
All right, take it from the top.
yeah.
Keep that 8. Come on back in.
It was under siege. There was 30 snipers on 3 different rooftops with binoculars, videotaping, taking photographs of sections of the crowd. What transpired was a hostile environment set by Slayer Mayor Giuliani and his stormtroopers. What occurred was media and newscasters acting in concert to produce a wave of misinformation and exaggerations, making it seem as if the police officers were there to protect the citizens of Harlem. Basically, come with us to Harlem and follow us so we can see what the people have to say on the situation.
They kind of messed us up too, them new guys.
Yeah, they were trying to give some support, which I recognize that. Okay, located at Harlem, I would like to thank this brother for stepping up and being the first one to be interviewed. This is after the Million Youth March. After much negative fabrications, we are now here in the community of Harlem to find out what the people have to say. My brother, what can you offer us and the public about what you know about the Million Youth March, and did you attend the Million Youth March?
Yes, I did attend the Million Youth March. But in the first place, I didn't like the setup that they set up for us, you know. As black people, they try to segregate us. Or they put the barriers to keep us in one set. They never let the black people to come together to show the power, you know. They segregate us by putting all those bars and all that. And, you know, I really came a little late, so I didn't get to hear the whole speech, you know. But I think they send a positive vibes, a positive message to black people. And I hope we understand it and see where we come from. If we really fight for our rights, I think we'll be a better place in this society, you know.
Some people are saying that basically the march was a march of hate, that basically a lot of black people did not support the march. Was there any instances of where the police might have been trying to prevent people from attending?
I think so, yes, because how they set it up, you can't pass certain places, you know, they're keeping you boundaries, that you have to walk certain parts to get in and all that, you know. You can't get to reach up to here, you know, see the people that are representing us, you know, because they're keeping you from a distance and all that, you know. That was a kind of prevention, you know.
What do you think we need to do, since this is after the march, and there's some people who are saying that the march didn't really have any objectives and that we as a people didn't have a plan?
Well, I think we need to get more organized in how we do things, you know. If we're going to have a march, you know, at least you have a schedule, how you gonna do things, how we gonna, you know, bring our people together, what we're gonna say, and we, of the people, or the head of the people that are representing us, they gotta be thinking about what they say, you know, so that if they say something bad, it won't reflect on all the rest of us, you know. If they send a positive message that white and black can understand and know that it's clear message, we ain't trying to send no hatred messages, you know. We're just trying to fight for our rights. We just need our rights to be who we are, you know, and represent what we stand for. You know, that's what I think the march was all about.
Okay, I thank you, my brother. One love.
Right,
and thank you for permission to have this interview.
All right.
Take care. Have a nice day. You know, we're finding it very difficult in Harlem, the cultural city of New York, of our people. We find it very difficult to get sisters to represent. If any one of you or both of you actually allow to be, grant us permission to interview you, you'll be the first women, you know? And you'll be the first women today. I mean, because basically for some reason, none of the women seem interested in speaking, whether Okay, we're here at West 109th Street in Harlem. Basically, this is Sister Debbie, who has granted us permission to be interviewed. Sister Debbie, were you here at the Million Youth March?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
What did you see?
Thousands of people listening to, I forgot his name, Mr. Muhammad.
Khallid Muhammad.
Khallid Muhammad, yeah. It was interesting.
Were there a lot of police around?
Yo, nothing but, when I came through Lenox Avenue, I was wondering whether it was the police attending the march or was it the people, the public, because it was more cops than us.
At least it seemed that way.
It seemed that way, yeah. That's what it seemed like, yeah, because we couldn't get in, you know. It was real difficult to even come in.
Okay, do you see any police harassing anyone or trying to intimidate anyone?
Oh, no, not really. I didn't see that, no.
Preventing people from, which you don't consider preventing people from actually attending a march as a form of intimidation and harassment?
I guess, yeah, you're right. That was a form of harassment, yeah, because when we tried to come in, they kept sending us around the blocks, and when we went around the block, we got stopped there. We had to go back around another block. Yeah, that was.
Okay, do you feel that our people was dealt with in a very respectful manner by the mayor, by the police department, and by some of the politicians who allegedly represent us?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Could ask me.
Meaning, to be more simple, the simple question is this: do you feel that we were dealt with fairly? That our rights were protected?
No, I don't think we were. I don't think we were dealt fairly. No. I really don't think so. No.
People were talking about snipers on the rooftops. Did you see any police officers on the rooftops?
Oh, most definitely. Matter of fact, I think I was right here on 118th Street when I happened to look up because I kept listening to the helicopter. And when I looked up, I actually saw police officers on the roof. I really, really did. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Did you see any rifles?
No, I couldn't see because the sun, it was real difficult, but I saw the officers. I saw the officers, yeah. Yeah, now the rifles I didn't see. No, I didn't see that.
Did you see any fights, meaning were any of the people who attended the march, our brothers and sisters, were they fighting each other? Were they cursing at each other? Were they pushing each other?
You mean the people in the street, the marchers?
Yes.
No, there were no fights. Everybody was very respectful. You know, we were listening to Mr. Muhammad. I mean, no, there was no fights, no.
So there was no reason for the police to feel that a riot was going to break out?
No reason whatsoever. There was no reason whatsoever. To me, it looked like they were looking for us, the people, to go crazy. No, that wasn't the case. No, we were here peaceful to listen to Mr. Muhammad speak, you know, they're the ones that were making us really uncomfortable here. They're the ones.
Do you know that on a radio station, WABC, they are saying that we were uncivilized and that the police did exactly what they were supposed to do because we were the ones rioting?
That's not true. That's not true. I was here from the beginning and until after 4 o'clock. That's not true. That's not true. We did not know. There was nobody rioting, nobody. I didn't even see anybody smoke a cigarette. I didn't hear anybody curse. Everybody was focusing their attention to Mr. Muhammad.
I thank you, Sister Debbie.
You're welcome.
Okay, if you have anything else you want to say, you can.
No, that's about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Peace. Take care.
How did I do?
You did well. Come on, that shirt will look very nice on camera. Or at least let us get a shot of the shirt, at least. Come on. I'm not, even though, look, now, this is a pretty shirt. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, it's not gonna even deal with the march. This is Sister Donna, and we have permission to interview you, right?
Yes.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot. I just have one question. It's not even about the march. What is this shirt that you're wearing? What do you feel this shirt is about?
The Million Youth March.
Okay, point.
I don't want to talk.
But what about the Million Youth March? How old are you, sister?
18.
18. So some people would consider you a youth. Some people would consider you a young adult. What did the Million Youth March mean to you? What was the expectations that you had?
I don't want to ask. Come on, I want to do this.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. That's even the better.
I'm a security
You're securing
officer.
us. You're securing the neighborhood. They are training you to protect us, to help protect us. You know? You know, they may pay you to protect them, but you protect us out of love. And we love that, sister.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Okay. So, this is Sister Davis, and I'm going to ask her a couple of questions on the Million Youth March. Were you here on that fateful day?
Sure I was.
What did you see?
I saw all black people coming together as one.
In love or hate?
In love. Of course in love.
Did you see police?
Oh, sure. I saw police, but mostly I saw black. I looked straight through the police.
Did you see any snipers?
No, I didn't. No.
Did you hear any helicopters?
I heard plenty of helicopters.
What was the feeling that you had on that day?
Oh, you know that movie Red Dawn?
No, tell me about it.
Well, it was about snipers and Nazis and all of those coming over to America, taking over America, and that's the way it felt.
It felt that, who was the Nazis?
Well, the police were the Nazis.
Okay, and who was taking over America?
The cops. They were the Nazis.
What do you think is the solution for our people?
Just come together and be as one. That's the solution. We have free speech. Don't be afraid. Speak your mind. And do what you gotta do to protect you and yours and ours.
For the positive, right?
For the positive, nothing negative. Nothing negative, because nothing negative only comes out of negative.
I thank you, sister. You have anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
Thank you for the interview. Peace. And if you want to leave your address so that when the videotape is completed and you want to purchase it, you know, right over there, okay? Thank you again. We needed that Sunkist. Yeah.
First, you're gonna put the choppers in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, Logan, go ahead.
Okay, I have brother Freddie here who basically has agreed to be interviewed. Brother Freddie, was you here for the Million Youth March?
Yeah, I was here from the time it started. I was out here about 10 o'clock in the morning, actually about 9 o'clock in the morning when they had about 1,000 cops out here. When they first came, it looked like they was ready for war when they got here.
How did you feel when you saw all that?
I was a little bit, I ain't gonna say scared, but I definitely was a little taken aback that they would come into the community and try to take it over when the people were just going to be trying to have a peaceful march out here. They came with the intentions of having something. They came with the intentions of starting something out, and you can see by the way that the cops came down and the fact that they even took the patrolmen that aren't from this community. They took all the patrolmen that normally work in this community out and brought all these people from elsewhere that didn't even know how to deal with the people here. Okay, and they normally, I'm out there on Saturdays. I normally go over there and buy a hamburger and a lemonade when I come out of the stores. But they jammed it up with the vendors that usually sell over here couldn't even sell their stuff. You know, they came here to make it as difficult as possible for people to come here and enjoy themselves. You know, and they even knocked out all the train stations along this path, so you couldn't even get to the parade if you wanted to come here. You know, they tried to make it next to impossible for the people to have a nice time.
With hearing all this, what do you really think is the solution for our people?
I think our people got to get somebody in office that's going to fight for them. Unlike Charles Rangel and some of the other politicians that you got out here that are going to bend over backwards to do what Giuliani wants them to do. Because he's trying to run this city like he's a dictator. And as long as he does that, the kids are going to rebel. The young black men and young black women are going to rebel against him because he's not trying to do anything for them. We need to have somebody in office that's going to work for us.
I'm going to put just one more angle into this. Do you think that's what they want at this present time, is a rebellious attitude, a rebellious action from us?
Yes, that's what they want. That's not what we should give them. That's why they're still building prisons. They want to have us locked up. Okay, they want to have us where we can't do anything for ourselves. Okay, and that's the last thing that you should do. You should beat this man at his own game. Take him to the courts and beat him at his own game. You know, with as many people as they had out here during the day of the march, if they wanted to hurt somebody, they could have done them cops in, and they didn't. Only 15 of them got hurt because they went up on that stand stupid. But I don't think that we should play into his hand and get violent. There's another way of doing it. The same way that Farrakhan was able to get 1 million men together and have a march and not have violence there, the same way that Khallid was able to have a march here for 4 hours and he had no violence. You should be able to do that all the time, not just once a year or once every couple of years. You should try to get some type of movement together where the younger kids get together more often and they can speak on the issues that are out there. Okay, not where it's put up on a podium and it's used as a political football, because right now that's what's going on. Okay, it's like the kids are being stuck in the middle of a fight between Giuliani and Khallid. And I'm not saying that what Khalid Muhammad was saying was wrong either. I just think that it was the wrong type of forum. I think that if the march was for the youths, that Giuliani should have left it for the youths, not to try to intermingle his feelings because he was beat, because that was the bottom line. He was beat in court and he didn't like it. He shouldn't have made this the forum to try to get back at him for it.
So what you're saying, from how I'm receiving it, is that basically Giuliani don't care nothing about black youth.
He don't care about blacks, he don't care about Puerto Ricans either. He cares about who he thinks is going to vote for him and who he thinks can do something for him. He don't care about the kids of the city, and he don't care about the minorities of them. You keep looking at all the city workers, that's why pretty soon you're going to start seeing more and more city workers being laid off from their jobs. They're taking the wet workers and putting them in the jobs of the people that are working for the city now. He doesn't care about the minorities. He doesn't want to see us go nowhere. And as long as we allow him to keep stepping on us, he's going to continue to do it.
I thank you, my brother Freddie. Okay, yeah. Stay strong.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. You don't need the straw. Well, you want the straw, maybe I'll add character to it. Come over here.
I have the straw.
Huh?
You got a thing I don't have.
Come on, my brother. Come on.
Each for his own.
What's your name, my brother?
Elwood.
Elwood?
Yes.
Okay. Was you at the Million Youth March? Okay, come over here. Okay, this is Brother Elwood. He was at the Million Youth March. Brother Elwood, what did you see?
A lot of police. Too many.
Do you think it was necessary?
Nope.
Why?
When it goes around the corner, they didn't have that many police. Vice President. They had 300 police for him and 6,000 for us.
So what are you saying? Just come out and say exactly what you think.
They had us in a cage. We couldn't go nowhere. And I live up the block.
Why do you think they had us in a cage?
When you put something in a cage, you control it. Can't go nowhere.
Why do they want to control us?
Scared of us.
Why are they scared of us?
Look around in Harlem, you'll see.
Are they scared of us because we're violent savages?
No, we're not violent. We just like everybody else.
Are we savages?
Are you?
Of course not. I'm a black man.
Okay then, why you asking me?
No, it's not that I don't know. This is for the video.
I know, but no, hell, don't ask me something. You know and I know. I'm not no savage. Hell, I don't stay in the jungle. But I was in Vietnam. I've been in the jungle.
So what did you think when you saw those helicopters?
Remind me of Chinook. Coming in for, we used to jump out of them over in Vietnam. Like to come in for, what you call it? Come in and shoot.
By being someone who fought for this country of liberty, how did that make you feel as being a veteran?
I was ready to go back to war.
In defense of this country?
No, in defense of my house.
I hear you, my brother.
Right.
Brother Elwood, anything else you would like to say and share with us?
Everything, well, I can say the thing, but I don't want to say it.
How were our people? Our people,
nice. That was nice. We didn't do nothing wrong. Not one thing we did wrong. They just had too many police in this area for that. And they didn't march. They said a march. They the hell did a march? You come down one side. How you gonna march? We didn't march. Stood in one place. Is that a march? No.
That's more like a rally. Do you know on a white radio station, they're making fun of us saying how, oh, it wasn't even a march, it was a rally. They're saying that we were uncivilized, that we started the violence, that the police were just doing their job.
The police started violence, like over there in the Queens, they had to pull in that man's body behind that truck, demonstrating like they did in Texas. Again, everything they do is right, everything we do is wrong.
You're talking about that situation where the volunteer firemen and police officer were actually reenacting in blackface and Afro wigs and dreadlock wigs the dragging of James Byrd in Texas, Jasper, Texas.
Right. That wasn't right. And they let them do that.
And people in the community didn't find that too offensive.
No, because it didn't matter that community but white. But we got everybody here. That's what they treat us of. They get there, we coming.
I thank you, my brother. Okay, peace. Thank you. You're a strong soldier still.
53 years old.
Yeah, yes you are. Thank you, my brother. Peace.
I like when he spoke about the choppers.
Yeah.
Put that sound effect.
Chinook. Black bookstores and everything. But what we can do, anybody who's on this videotape, we're getting their mailing address where we'll notify them, or their phone number where we'll notify them and let them know, hey, the videotape's ready. Okay? What's your name, my brother?
Stay right there, John, man.
Okay.
Stay there.
Malcolm? Peace, brother Malcolm. My name is Ja Man.
Y'all ready?
Okay, basically, I have brother Malcolm here who has granted permission to be interviewed today.
Hold on. Let me get these headphones on. All right.
Brother Malcolm, basically, what did you see on September 5th, 1998 at the Million Youth March?
Well, it was the Million Youth March was originally here to the speakers with Khallid and Al Sharpton and some sisters got up there. They was talking a lot of good positive things, I guess to inform the people of the knowledge that's here as far as like loving yourself, uplifting yourself, stay away from things that's not contributing factors to your growth and development, guarding yourself against evil forces, and just like staying positive to enlighten the people, that they should like it's not about the materialistic, gaining all the materialistic, things in life, like Tommy Hilfigers and Nordica and, trying to love your brother and treat him as equal. It was a very positive day.
What was the reaction of the crowd while most of the speakers were on? Were this crowd becoming violent? Were they pushing each other? Were they?
They wasn't becoming violent. They wasn't becoming violent. Everybody was saying one love, one unity, you know, one force. You know what I'm saying? To get the enlightenment of a direction was going to take us to the millennium, I guess.
Were there a lot of youth here?
Yeah, it was a lot of youth. It was a lot of black, Spanish, Chinese. It was multi-ethnical background. There was a lot of people. It was black, but there was Spanish and Latino. There was white. There was Chinese, Japanese. It was all people from all walks of life that was out here that day.
And police?
Mad police. Mad police. There was a lot of police. The police was like funneling people to come through the blocks. I came early when they were setting up the barricades, and we had entered through 124th Street, from 25th Street, 24th Street, from Lenox, what's that, 7th Avenue. I had entered through 7th Avenue, 124th Street to come down the block here. When you get through here, there was like stopping. It was like checkpoints, stop points. I guess to funnel the crowd in to let them, you know, go the direction they wanted.
To control.
To control the crowd control, really. The crowds were being controlled. Your movement was limited. It was all like in the middle, surrounded by police.
And there were snipers on the rooftops, right?
There were snipers on the binoculars, snipers, riot gear. Everything was, they was ready. They was ready just in case.
And helicopters.
Helicopters, yes, it was helicopters, snipers, binoculars, undercover police, DTs. It was a lot of law enforcement officials in the area. More than enough. More. It was too many. Before a peaceful march, I don't even see why they was even out there like that.
Now, why do you think they had so much force to protect the crowd and make sure that the men, women, and children were safe?
To make sure that the men, women, children were safe, I guess, because they was afraid of a riot, it might get out of control. So I guess it's to contain the crowd and make sure it don't get any violence. But, you know, putting it in situations like that even put an atmosphere of violence, you know what I'm saying? So,
who started the violence first?
The police, when they went up inside at 4 o'clock on the dot. How you gonna disperse, I know, 6, 7, 8,000 people at 4:01? From 12 o'clock in the afternoon, people from here from really 6 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. How? How you gonna, like, from 4 o'clock on the dots, go inside and shut the place down? You can't do that.
Did you see the Like It Is Gil Noble show? Because Gil Noble estimated there was 25,000 people there.
No, I didn't see the show. I didn't see the show. Yeah, it was a lot. I can't say it was a lot. It was like, yeah, about 25, 30,000 people all through everywhere. From here, from 119th Street, from here, 119th Street. That's where the podium and the stage was set up right here. People was all around. It was all around. It was all around. It was like, 25, 30,000 people.
And how did you feel when the helicopters swooped down?
Well, personally, I left. I left like at 10 minutes to 4 because I started getting the eerie feeling, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, something what transpired, because when they was talking about Khallid, you know, I understand, you know, his position as far as, but he has to find a better way in articulating and bringing the message across. He has a better, we shouldn't get emotional. He gets emotional. I mean, I get emotional too about, you know, looking through history and then now seeing what's going on in the days and times. Now I get kind of emotional too, but I have to contain my emotions and try to articulate to the best of my ability to get my point across. We are not anti-Semitic people. It's not about no anti-white, pro-black, against Jews or Puerto Ricans or whatever, you know. It's what's right over wrong. It should not be no double standards. You know what I'm saying? When a black man's voice, you know what I'm saying, be amplified, be heard, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Adam Clayton Powell, everybody was silenced. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, he's a voice, just like Al Sharpton, he's another voice that speaks about the injustices that's being done to our people, you know what I'm saying? Khallid, he has his way of doing things. A lot of people don't agree with it, you know what I'm saying? He has his valid points. You know, it's not, for me, individually, it's not about anti-Semitic. It's majority of the buildings here is owned by Jewish people. Arabians, Jewish, Latinos.
How about Koreans?
Koreans. You know what I'm saying? We really don't have nothing. We can't even, $30, $40, $50,000, $250,000 to buy brownstone here. You know what I'm saying?
Not meaning to cut you off. Do you know that there's some people who would consider themselves Jewish? They would say that, well, anything that the Jews or the Koreans have, or the Irish have, or the Italians have, or the Arabians have, they have because they have done hard work, and anybody who criticizes them are basically jealous people. Do you think that we're jealous people, and do you really think we can't do anything?
No, it's not about being jealous. It's about looking at where we come from, let's say from the 1930s, when this was Black Harlem, was allegedly Black Harlem. And that's when they fluctuated dope into the neighborhoods and stuff. And a lot of people, you know, they took our language, our culture, our religion, our God, our minds. You know, we strong, but we've been victimized too, you know what I'm saying? Some people is not emotionally, you know, don't have good family structures. They have family structures. Their mother, their father, sister, brother, aunts, uncles, they just come, they come here and they funnel their people in, you know what I'm saying, and they work together as a community, you know what I'm saying. They live one apartment, they'll live like 20 in an apartment, you know what I'm saying. They're not caught up into the fact, they have a self-value about, from their history, a pride of their history. Just like the Latino people have a pride of their history. Will I be proud that my ancestor was raped and robbed and sodomized and put in jail and just be victimized, or just because you was black, just because you was from Africa? My ancestors from Africa, I was sons of slaves. We worked and we did not get no pay. You know what I'm saying?
But you must also add, I don't mean to cut you off, you must also add that we are the creators of civilization, that we did have mathematics and architecture, so it's not exactly...
And the knowledge, yeah, we are the original people and everything like that, and the knowledge that we have back from the beginning of time, they came along, you know what I'm saying, and took it. It's like the sponge, you like the vacuum. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're the original man. You have the knowledge, the wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement. You have everything. You have Africa, everything. We come, take everything that's worth something, take it for themselves, and leave us nothing. And leaves us nothing. You couldn't even get a job. Education was like, it's hip, slick, and cool back in the day, Superfly. With the hat backwards, yeah, homie. They was promoting that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people who don't have a good, solid family in God, the Lord, Jesus Christ, Allah, Jehovah, people who's not, their parents is not, you know, how can I say it? Progressive. You know what I'm saying? They'll fall victim to the other things in life. Like, you know, okay, if I work 600 hours a week and then I got to pay all my money to the rent, then I'm still broke. Or I can go and stand on the corner and sell some drugs and carry, and it's okay. They funnel the drugs up inside here again. You don't see no cocaine poppy field on 119th Street. Where did the stuff come from? It comes from other countries. It comes in so here, and we are consumers. We are consuming people. We originally we was the producers of, you know, a lot of things, but now we're consuming things like in the lessons that says that why did we fear the devil now as a grown man? Because we taught us to eat the wrong foods. We eat the wrong foods: beer, wine, cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is not even part of our existence. You know what I'm saying? We assimilated the characteristics of, remember back in the days it was like they were pinky in the air with the cocaine. That was like the high class drug with the champagne and all the stuff with the suits and processes and everything. Nobody wanted to be black. People was afraid, not afraid, but ashamed of your black. Oh, you nigga, you spook, sambo, mooly, you know what I'm saying? Puerto Ricans call you negativos, and you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I appreciate it, my brother. You definitely building and destroying all at the same time.
You know, we just gotta like try to alleviate all the things that's not part of our growth and development. We have to learn to interact with people. If you're black, Muslim, Jewish, Czechoslovakian, Russian, we have to learn, like Martin Luther King said, if we don't learn to live together as brothers, surely we die apart as fools. Mm-hmm. You know.
Okay. Peace, my brother.
Peace.
Stay strong. Okay.
Name and number?
Yeah, if you want to get the videotape, because once we're finished, we're going to contact everybody who was on this videotape. It's going to be in certain stores, but we want you to be the first ones. Okay, thank you, my brother. Peace. Peace.
Go
back over there? Okay. Peace, okay. Your name, sister?
Men's Frida.
Frida? Okay, peace. Ja Man.
John Man.
Ja Man.
Ja Man.
Ja Man.
Ja Man.
Yeah, Ja and Man.
Okay.
Okay, and your name is Frida?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I have Sister Frida here who has agreed to be interviewed to talk about the Million Youth March, and this is after the Million Youth March. Basically, Sister Frida, was you there?
Yes, I was. I live in the neighborhood here.
What did you see?
I saw a group of very quiet, friendly people that were coming out to listen to something very positive for the children of our neighborhoods, the black youth, actually anybody of color, the youth of any color. They were here to listen to positive speakers and very quietly and orderly. That's what I saw.
Okay, what was the behavior of the police officers?
Well, in the beginning, they were just walking around. They were on the roofs. The helicopters were flying low. And at one point, I felt that they were flying very low because I can hear them from where I live. And I didn't know the reason, but I was in and out of my house. And every time I would come out, people were just listening to the speakers. They were listening to them speak. They were walking around. They had vendors selling shirts and food and such. And everybody was just here for a peaceful march, so to speak.
Okay, so do you think the show of force, the wall of force, was needed for our type of civilized behavior?
Well, I don't think any force was needed. I mean, I guess it's just like any gathering or anybody that wants to march or so forth. The people were here for that. They were here to listen to a speech, listen to positive things, as I said before. And towards the end, I couldn't see where it's necessary for the police to move in. I've never seen them move in on any other march or any other speakers at a appointed time. I mean, anytime you go to a session where people are speaking, they usually run about 5 or 10 minutes over, you know. And when Khalid Muhammad got up and he spoke, yes, he said some very negative things, but so did Mayor Giuliani. He said some very negative things. And I think the whole battle is between Mayor Giuliani and Khalid Muhammad. I don't think it's within the people or the youth. You know, I didn't think the fight was there. I think our youth were here to listen to something very positive, something that they could hold on to and work on in the future, now and in the future. See where they were going in this world of ours, and all the animosity that people hold and everything. The kids were here to hear something more positive. That's the way I feel about it. And I had a neighbor come. It was hard for me to get in and out of my block. I wanted to go 3 blocks down. I had to go all the way up to 7th Avenue, around to 116th Street. And when I got to 116th Street, I didn't see any news media out here on the avenues. I didn't even see them up on the roofs or anything. I saw them down on 116th Street. So whatever happened at the very end, that's all I think most of the media got, was what happened at the very end. I've even looked at the newscasts on TV and such, and I didn't even see them you know, record anything, the peacefulness that was happening during the whole 4 hours. It was just what had actually ended, you know.
You know something, I've been listening to a lot of interviews. Do you think it's possible that they already knew that if the people did not do anything negative, that the police would provoke a negative incident where they would be able to actually record that and videotape that?
Well, I think what happened was the whole focus was on Khalid Muhammad. I don't think it was the people in general. And they were afraid of what Khalid Muhammad would say to incite the youth that were out here. But I think our youth are very smart and very brilliant, and they weren't here for that, regardless of who said what. They were more here about the positive speeches, like Reverend Al Sharpton. He gave a positive speech, and that was the time that I heard them actually cheer and shout for something that was very positive. Khalid may have said something very positive in the interim of his speech, but towards the end he made, you know, things a little bit jittery. And we were already intimidated on the earlier part of the day before the speeches had even started, because we wanted to know why there were so many police around and why they were in this riot gear and stuff like that. I'm just one of the residents here, and I wanted to know know why they were out here like that. I see drug people up and down the street. I never see them come out like that in force. I've never seen that happen. I mean, we have the West Indian Day Parade on Labor Day. We don't see the police in force like that. And there are millions of black youth and black people in general. And I never see the police like that. So they were anticipating something, and because I think nothing happened, they were ordered to shut us off at 4 o'clock on the dose. And that, I think, incited the people up in the front, because most of the people back this way, they didn't even know what was going on. They walked away peacefully. Nobody had anything to say negative about what was going on. They just walked away, and everybody had conversations among themselves about the whole incident.
This is something that some people may not be aware of. Maybe Brother Khallid, being the warrior and scholar that he is, perceived the military presence and basically wanted to warn and notify and prepare some of the people, or all of the people who were here to support him, that yes, go home in peace, but I don't want to see you brutalized. So that's maybe it was coming in a way where it was too intense for many people, but maybe he was just trying to prepare people to let them be aware that even though you're a peaceful people, they are getting ready to do something.
Well, I don't know about them being ready to do something. Maybe his message was a little taken a little off the side or something. But if you listen to both of their messages, Mayor Giuliani and Khalid Muhammad, they both had something negative to say on both sides. Mayor Giuliani was saying something negative, and then because we had to go through the courts to get our permits to do the march, I think he in total was saying that you do as I say do. And that was presenting all the forces that he had around us to intimidate us. If we do something, this was his threat, we'll do something back to you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But as I said before, regardless of what he said or Muhammad said, okay? The people were here to think for themselves. We've come a long way, and we don't need people to tell us anything. Of course, you always have somebody that is going to be in a negative on any side, no matter what race, creed, color they are. You understand? And all it takes is for one person to stand up and give a speech. But the Ku Klux Klan does that too. Do they not? I never see them go.
Khallid has never killed anyone, though. But I thank you, sister.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
How you doing?
You are a patient brother. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. My name is Ja Man. What's yours?
My name is Raheem Bey.
Raheem Bey. You're Moore. Okay. B sister. That's a strong sister there. Strong sister. Okay. I have the permission of Raheem Bey. Brother Raheem, was you present at the Million Youth March?
I wasn't there, but I was in the community.
Okay, what did you hear about the Million Youth March from the brothers and sisters of Harlem?
Well, what I heard, it was a nice march. You know, it was orderly. And then what I heard, well, before the march, as they was going through the proceedings to get the permit, and my one thing that I notice is, it's like we chose the time from 12 to 4 to have the march. And my only opinion in that was like, all right, if we had chose that time, we should have like cut off a little earlier. And why I say that, because the way the people that ran the politics that set it up, they was looking and they was gearing up the march to make it a very negative event. You know, they used the media. They had a police presence that was unreal. I mean, they had more police just out here for a march than they had in the Diamond District. You know what I mean? And like that presence of police, I mean, the city was left vulnerable in other areas. You know what I mean? I'm saying if it was about protection of property and protection of the citizens here, I mean, they had more police here than what was needed for the march.
Are you saying that it was the group organizers' fault because there was such a strong police presence in Harlem?
No, it's not their fault. The issue is this, like, they wanted to bring people together. The march organizers wanted to bring people together, all right? And by them wanting to bring people together, that means all our youth, some of our youth, you know, some of our youth are good, some of our youth are not so good, but they wanted to bring all our youth together to bring them a message, right? All right, so now the politics or the politicians such as the mayor and other things, they was against the march because, you know, the reality is that they fear us, all right? They don't want us to come together. They gave us a lot of static about a permit, and then, you know, we got to think. If we make a deal with them to do something from such and such and such, from such a time to such a time, we got to cut out time so they won't give us no more static, because they were looking for an excuse to make this whole issue blow up, you know, and blow up in a negative manner. I mean, you know, they really, really spent a lot of tax dollars unnecessary into making this a negative event. You know what I'm saying? 401, they're going to rush the stage to take the generator at 401. I can see like 410, you say, all right, come on now, get this closed up, you know, but like 401, you're gonna rush the stage. You know, that's why I say, like, if the cutoff time would have been like, the speech cutoff time would have been like 3:57, 3:58, then, you know, it would have just held all that the political arena would have been held at bay. You know what I mean? It just would have been held to a minimum to where they say, all right, well, they did cut off at the right time. You see what I'm saying? But it's like they look for little excuses to move in. And when they do that, they use overkill. They send more force in that's necessary, you know? So you know, little things like this I address because if we ever want to do this again, we got to be aware that they're going to try to stop us. They're going to look for any little excuse to say no. So we got to be on point. It's just like the community, all right? It's like we got people in the community that bring the community down, but yet when we need certain services brought back up, we got to run to outsiders instead of taking care of it ourselves. I mean, we got the smarts, we got enough people. I mean, you know, it's now we got to get our priorities right, and then we got to get in motion to make our community better for ourselves. Because I mean, if you look around, you know, the Caucasians, he's coming back. He want to live here now. You know what I'm saying? Which raises the question, where we gonna live? You know what I mean? Do we got to go out in the outskirts where they were? And then when we get out there, the services are not gonna be the same. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, we always got to stay on point. As a people, we got to stay really on top of ourselves because, like I say, they use any little means to try to destroy us, any little means to try to bring negativity to us, any little thing. And I'm not talking about no major thing. I mean, we're not blowing up World Trade Centers or nothing. You see what I'm saying? But yet, it's like when we decide to come together and just have a conversation, because it was all just a conversation. You know, a speaker speaking to a group of us. You know what I mean? But yet, they put up a lot of energy into making that negative.
Going by what you're saying, would you consider that basically even if it had ended 3:45 and we had started clearing out, I mean, from what you're saying, I think that maybe they would have did something anyhow or still criticize.
All right, even if we'd have did that and we really had to we had to really go for the fight, that would have made the fight just more justifiable. You see what I'm saying? Because then we had agreed to stop at a certain time. If we'd have stopped a little earlier and they would have brought the ruckus, we'd have been more justifiable in defending ourselves and doing what we had to do. Because, look, we stopped on time. Boom. Now, what's the problem? What you want to come around here and get rough for? You know what I mean? So the whole thing is like when we organize something, it's like, you know, when you make a deal with the devil, man, it's like you making a deal under the devil's terms. It's not under our terms because, again, you know, they got the land so cornered off on all four corners of the world. They say what the currency is. They say what the rate of exchange is on the foreign currency. They say we can lead the country under their statutes, like such as passports and things like this. They issue all that out. They say, yo, look, we want a curfew lockdown. You see what I'm saying? Because right now they got us in a catch-22. That's why we, as a people, gotta say, we gotta really focus on what are we trying to achieve for ourselves. what are we gonna do to back ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Because look, if they decide not to let no more food in the neighborhood, we in trouble. Because like, we don't have the abundance of farms. You see what I'm saying? We don't, our support system, we have to bring up our support system so we can stay, on the planet, so we can sustain ourselves and live, not just survive. Surviving is one thing, you know, but to live. Because, you know, when you on the notion to survive, it's like any little thing that can get you by to another phase, that's what you're gonna settle with. But when you got the notion to live, you're gonna say, well, boom, we're gonna build a firm foundation here, and then we're gonna take that firm foundation over here, and we're gonna keep strong. You see what I'm saying? Because we gotta live. It's a whole different mentality than surviving. So, I mean, basically, like I say, and what I would like to see us as people do is like really focus on making ourselves better and putting forth that effort into making ourselves better. You know what I mean? Because this is all they say, man. They sit back behind closed doors. They talk a lot about us. They talk a lot of down. They talk negative about us. But if they can use us any way they find that they can use us to benefit themselves, oh, they're gonna do that. Regardless what it costs, you know, who it hurts, you know, it doesn't matter. Because it's their game. See, we gotta have that same drive for ourselves and say, well, look, they doing it, we gotta do it for ourselves. Because if we ain't doing it, man, what we gonna do? When they got it all and we can't get, no, we're gonna do. We gotta run to them and say, look, we need this. The same way with like with the employment. You know, if we can't get no employment, we gotta go run to for welfare. And then they got their thing going like, all right, you want that? I'll work for it. Work for it now. I mean, it's like, it's the same slavery. These are the chains we gotta break in life. We gotta break this chain of slavery, man. It's like this servitude. I mean, I don't dig it myself, you know what I mean? That's why, you know, basically, I'm speaking like I am about it. The whole thing is, we gotta establish our foundation and we gotta secure our foundation. Because if we don't,
we're dead.
We out of here. You know what I'm saying? And like, I mean, you know, regardless whether what we studied back in history, we gotta look at it and say, hold up, we studied all this, we know all this, we read these books, we read this book, this one got a book, that one got a book. But the issue is, it ain't the book, it ain't about that. It's about, all right, well look, what do we have from the point we was on the planet up to the point now that we can say, it's ours, it's gonna secure us. And then when you add it up, you're gonna say, wow, we don't have much. Matter of fact, we don't have anything. You see what I'm saying? We need a better foundation. And you know, I mean, we really gotta work hard on it. I mean, focusing on the youth is a real good issue because they are the key to turn this whole thing around. You see? The youth, they are the key to turn it around. But and also, you know, we're gonna focus on the youth, we gotta focus on all of the youth because, you know, it's all about, like I said, it's all about that foundation. It's all about securing our foundation so we can sustain ourselves, you know, and keep living.
Okay, thank you, Raheem.
All right.
Okay. Stay strong.
Take care.
That was fun.
It's going to be a videotape. If you want the videotape, you sign the mailing list right over here. Yeah, I know. I'm talking to him. I'm talking to the brother over here. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Peace, Raheem, baby. Did you leave? You left?
Yeah,
oh, okay, good. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of squad cars. Like they're getting closer and closer, slowing down and stopping. Yeah. Peace, my brother.
Peace. What's up, man?
How's everything?
All right. So you got my man stuff from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I was here.
What's your name, my brother?
My name is Kwame Ali.
Kwame Ali.
Yes, sir.
Getting all these righteous names. I like that. Okay, this is Brother Kwame, who's given us permission to interview him about the Million Youth March on September 5th, 1998. Brother Kwame, was you there?
Yes, sir, I was. I came up here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with a group of students and some elders too. Came up here and experienced the march.
What did you see and what was your feeling about what you saw?
Well, first things when we first pulled into the city, first we saw was cops. And one of the young people said, it was like, this ain't the Million Youth March, it's the Million Cop March. Because all the cops was here, and it was something that was unusual for us as we came into the city to see all these cops and not to see like really no, welcoming or anything like that. We just saw cops just looking and gritting on us. And we were kind of taken back by that. But, as the day proceeded and we came back, walked around Harlem, came back, during the march time, we seen, the happenings around the stage setting up and the people speaking and whatnot, and it was kind of challenging and frustrating for some of us because we got separated to come to the march the way they had it all set up. We were very disappointed in that aspect. But in terms of the whole march, it was good. It was all right. Inspiring.
What was the type of mood of the crowd, of the people who supported the march?
It was peaceful, all day, peaceful, man, all day. It was no drama at all. Really the tension, that we felt was coming from the police.
What type of behavior did they have? I mean, anything that stood out more than anything else?
Just, just a lack of respect for the people there. I say even for the community. I feel real bad for the people of Harlem who, regardless if they did support it or did not, it's like they were affected by it. And, the police just had it all jacked up. I saw people who couldn't even get to their own houses. Because the way the whole police had it all set up. And I felt really bad for them. But in terms of like, the way the people were, it was peaceful, real peaceful, man. And they were really supporting the march, and they were vibing off what some of the speakers had to say.
Do you think they set things up so that a lot of the Harlem residents would feel angry at the Million Youth March itself and not at the police?
I think so. As a matter of fact, I think it really frustrated anyone, not even from Harlem, that would come here. One of the things I heard after I left the march was that, they had to, they stopped the trains. I said, all right, if I'm coming from one of the other boroughs and I want to check out the march, and I come through on the train, it's like, boom, I have to, take a train further or stop, ahead to walk up here. And then the drama just coming here, up to, 117th, where it was at, very, it would make me mad. And I said, all right, time for me to go back home if I was probably a resident of one of the other boroughs. We came roughly about 600 miles, no, about 500 miles, up here. And we said, nah, we're not going to be stressed by all the drama that the police is giving us. We're going to support the march for all, what we came up here for. And that's what we did, and we stayed strong and true to that.
And I'm glad you did stay. Furthermore, did you notice any snipers or helicopters or police on rooftop?
Oh yeah, I seen the police on the rooftops. They're all lined up, just checking out the crowd, making sure, setting their sights on people. And at the end, the helicopters came down and buzzed the crowd a couple times, man. I felt like it was like one of them Vietnam stories. That's what I felt like. I heard the soldiers talk about Vietnam, and helicopters just come down and buzz. That's what it was, and this was, real. It showed some of the people in Pittsburgh, some of the youth, what police repression is all about. It really did, and I really gave them a wake-up call to really to see what's coming down the pike for the future, or what could come down the pike if they don't stand up. And hopefully, they will take that, and move on.
I don't know if you realize, but a lot of white radio stations and even the media itself is saying that it relatively was a small march and it was a low turnout. But evidently, you're from Pittsburgh, so it had to have more people than what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't get really too much in the schematics. You can say, you always get the undercount, man. Undercount the million man, undercount the million woman. You knew this was going to happen. Even if there was like a 5 million here, only probably you might want to say it was 5 people showed up. So I don't get too carried away with them, because really, they're not about anything, really not.
Do you have anything else you would like to offer or share with us about what you saw here at the Million Youth March, or the type of messages and type of actions that you're going to take back to Pittsburgh?
Well, basically what we're trying to do right now is just really organize here. Some of the things that there were some things that were lacking in here at the Million Youth March, and which I think, hopefully will be addressed later on. In terms of, I think, some of the organization could have been a little bit tighter, and I think that, from the Million Man could have been a little tighter, the Million Woman could have been a little tighter, and I saw that here with the Million Youth. Hopefully, like I said, later on, they won't make some of the same mistakes that I've seen in the past in terms of the Million Man and the Million Woman, in terms of the lack of organization after the fact. What we plan to do is, in Pittsburgh, is make sure that we, follow up, do the proper necessity in terms of building, raising the consciousness of the youth, and making sure they do action. Now, it depends on the action. I can't really say for now. Only God will know that. But in terms of hopefully it'll be something, prevalent.
Okay. My last question.
Yes, sir.
Who exactly was the promoter and first one to throw the first blow?
Oh man, from understanding, it was the cops. It was the cops because, you know, there was some questionable things I think Brother Khallid Muhammad had to say at the end, but at the same time too, he said, let's go home peaceful. Next thing I know, you know, I'm looking for one of my children. I look up and I see the cops on the stage. I'm like, oh, what's all this? You know, the cops look like, you know, they're about to, you know, they're gonna get up there on the stage and say something, you know. So from what I understood, it was the cops, and we had a sister who came with us who was a reporter who got messed up. She was one of the first to get hit by the cops and got pepper spray. She got saved from the brunt of it by another person that pushed her under the stage to protect her. And so she lost, some of her materials, but she injured herself. But from what I understand, it's the cops that came through there. And like I said, I seen the cops, rush the stage, and then, as a reaction of that, the people, then took action, but they didn't take the action that I believe they should have taken. But in the same aspect too, they did all right. They really did all right.
So in other words, they were hitting men, women, and children. They didn't care about who was more peaceful than what.
Right, you really, it's just the whole thing. They could have gone about it a different way. They really could have. I know you got a rough mayor up here in New York, and he really doesn't respect people of color and poor people. And but even still, it was a proper way of going about it. 4 o'clock is supposed to be the end of the permit. It was like 4:05, and you just bum rush the stage. It was unnecessary.
Asante, my brother Kwame, stay strong. Peace after liberation. Okay. Peace, sister. How's everything? Peace, my brother. Stay strong. Okay. How's everything? What's your name, sister?
Ayo.
Huh?
Ayo.
Ayo?
Yeah.
Okay, job man.
Nice
Okay, peace. Peace. We have Sister Ayo here, and she has granted permission to be interviewed. Sister Ayo, was you here for the Million Youth March?
Yes, I was.
What did you see, and how did you feel about what you saw?
I saw a lot of black people coming together in something positive, and it was beautiful. I heard a lot of speakers who were speaking, who spoke beautifully and who really brought up a lot of points and just brought out pride and brought out joy and brought out peace, and that's what I loved. It was very moving, very moving.
Okay, what was the police presence and behavior like?
In the beginning, they were just there. There were a lot of police officers, and they were just sort of standing around. Later on in the afternoon, towards the end of the march, was when I saw like an entire block and a half long of police in riot gear just behind the stage. That was, what does riot gear say? It says riot. And at this place, there was no hostilities. Everybody was just loving it. They just wanted to, come and, take advantage of the day. And it was insulting. It was insulting, and it was sad. And I think the way the city handled the march was pathetic. It was childish.
Do you know there's many radio stations, especially WABC, who have radio announcers, who have shows, who have callers calling in, and they saying that the police were professional and they did everything that they were supposed to do?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Personally, I don't think that the police were actually, negative. They were given orders. They came down. It's the people behind the police. It's like the people up top that are really the problem. It's the police commissioner, who called Khalid Muhammad, even though he's somebody whose views I don't agree with, and a man that I think I respect him for organizing such a march and organizing such a thing, but I don't really agree with his views. But it was people like the police commissioner who called him on national television a black Hitler. There's no reason for that. You can't possibly compare this man to Hitler. And no, you can't even say that in the same sentence. So it's the people up top who had the problems. But when stuff started to happen, I was by the stage, and the police wanted people to move in this direction and move out. And so they were closing off the rail guards there, and people wanted to go home. They were getting a little panicky, people with children, older people. They wanted to just leave when they saw all the riot police. It scared them, which is why I said it's such a bad way to handle it. But I was there, and police were trying to keep the gates closed, and people were trying to open them. And And I just touched this one guy on the shoulder, a police officer, and I said, open the gate and let people go. And he just looked at me for a second and was like, okay, and he did it. And so, you know, I don't think that there was anything. I have nothing against the police officers who were there. I just think that the way they were ordered to handle it was all wrong.
Do you know that men, women, and children were brutalized that day by the police?
Yes, I do. I do.
So even though they were following orders, and even though Safir and Giuliani wasn't there, physically those men in uniform did break the law, as far as I'm concerned.
That's true. That is true. And that is, I mean, that's a terrible thing. It's something that's an issue that the march brought out a lot, and it's something that needs to be acknowledged not only by black people and by the people it happens to, but taken seriously by the people in the government, so that something can happen.
Okay, are you aware that of the helicopters and snipers?
Yes. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. You know, we had people speaking their minds, speaking something, you know, that they truly believed in, and we had helicopters flying all low into the streets. I mean, it was terrible. It was really terrible, the way the whole thing went down.
Okay, one more question. Are you aware that around the time of the Caribbean Parade and the march, there was volunteer firemen and a police officer involved in a very insulting, derogatory parade where they put on Afro wigs and blackface, and one of them clung to a pickup truck and was slowly dragged down the street in reference to James Byrd being pulled apart in Jasper, Texas. That happened over the weekend, yes.
I did not know this.
And that the same police commissioner is downplaying it, as well as the same WABC is basically saying even though it was something bad, it's not as bad as what Khalid Muhammad represented and what he did.
Well, I mean, that's ignorance, and it's not, you know, it's just ignorance. That's what I think. And you can't, and the thing is these people, the way they speak out against Khalil Muhammad, fine, whatever, but you cannot say that the march itself and all the other speakers who were there, you know, were like him. It wasn't, you know, it was beautiful. It wasn't any, you know, they weren't speaking violence, they weren't speaking hatred, they were speaking love of everyone, you know. And Al Sharpton came out and he said, I'm not going to preach hate against anybody. He said black, white, homosexual, whatever, you know. And I think that was the point of the parade. That's what I took from it, and that's what I think people should take from it, you know, and not the negative aspects of it, and that's the thing that I think needs to get out, because right now is all we are hearing is negative things. And I try and tell people as much as possible that the main part of the march, yes, Khalil Muhammad was the organizer, yes, he was like the man behind the whole march, but there was a lot more there. A lot more there, and it was very beautiful, and for people to downplay that and disrespect it is just an ignorant thing.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna wrap it up anyhow.
All right.
Peace, thanks a lot, Ayo. You wanna be next? Come on, sis.
Let's shift it over this way.
Yeah. You was there for a while? Come over here. You was over there for a while?
Yeah.
What's your name, sister?
My name is Hazel Fuller.
Who? Hazel
Fuller.
Okay, I'm Sister Hazel. Okay, my name is John Man.
Nice to meet you.
Peace.
That's my daughter.
Okay. One at a time, okay. Okay, I have Sister Hazel here who has agreed to be interviewed. Sister Hazel, where were you on September 5th, 1998 at the Million Youth March?
Basically, I was in and out. I came by, looked out, see how it was going on, and I am appalled at what went on. I don't like the idea of the person that ran the march. It was very racist to me, and if anything, I believe our brothers and sisters would have got terribly hurt behind what happened. You know, I don't agree with what went on. You know, you're gonna get things riled up and then you run and lead the brothers and sisters to throw down the fight, and they get hurt and arrested. And you know, that I was very appalled about it.
Are you saying that Khalid Muhammad was at fault for what transpired?
What I'm saying is that he just got things riled up. He didn't handle it, you know, like Martin Luther King would have handled it. You know, I feel if Martin Luther King would have been here, you would have spoke your piece and do right, brothers and sisters, and that's it. Oh, don't take the sticks and shove it up there behind and fight and, you know, and make it a war. You know, it is going to be a war sooner or later, but I mean, there was no white people to have no war with.
You're saying that there wasn't a strong police or military presence in the community of Harlem?
Yes, it was, but I'm saying they knew the type of man that was running the march. That's the only reason why they had to come in full force like that. There wasn't only white police, there were black police as well.
What do you know about Khalid Muhammad? Do you know a lot about him, or just what you've heard in the newspapers and maybe TV?
I don't really know much about the man. All I know is that he was raised in Texas, I believe, and, you know, as far as things that's racial, you know, that he might have been with in the Muslim groups, and that he decided to go militant. And,
you know, Jasper, Texas is where the brother James Byrd was tied to a truck and pulled apart into 72 pieces, dragged to death.
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't hear about that episode?
I heard about the incident, but I didn't know that. You know,
okay.
That's where he was from. I didn't know that.
Well, you mentioned that you know he's from Texas, and I'm just bringing up the type of climate that Texas is about.
Right, I understand that.
Okay, did you see anything about snipers or the mood of the crowd? Was the crowd violent during the march? Were they pushing and fighting each other?
No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't.
So basically, even though there was a strong police presence, our people basically were peaceful.
Yeah, it was peaceful. But I mean, there's still no reason to get up on a stage and speak violence, you know, directly. Take their sticks, take their guns. I mean, that's actually to get our people hurt. That's not, I don't see there's nothing correct in that.
Okay, sister, do you have anything else you would like to offer?
Yes, I would like to say that I love my people, I love my family, and you want justice. You can't kill and hurt and ask for justice at the same time. You understand? You have to come to some different reason. We're not in Africa. You know what I'm saying? In Africa, we're killing our own people. There's tribes killing tribes. And, you know, as well as people here killing each other, have to come to some type of reason. You can't grab guns and sticks and shove them and shoot. It's not going to do nothing but just hurt our people.
Well, sister, what's going on in Africa, the reason why a lot of violence is going on in Africa is because it's being supported by different governments outside of Africa. America happens to be one of them. And divide and conquer is what keeps America alive and strong. And what our people don't realize is that it's okay to pray, but sometimes you must slay. Peace. Thank you.
Latoya Davis.
Okay, your name?
Latoya Davis.
Okay. Peace, my name is John Man.
All right.
Okay, peace. I have Latoya here, Sister Latoya. She has agreed to be interviewed.
Hello, I was one of the people that was here in the Million Youth March, and I feel that, personally, Macy's Parade was better than this because of the fact that all the police was there and they shortened the blocks from 29 to 6, and how do you know what I'm saying, figure that how do you do 6 blocks from 29, because Macy's Parade at least had about 15 blocks, and we was screaming, everybody was happy, enjoying the Macy's Parade when this is supposed to be a festival for the black people, the youth, and it was real, you know, real hectic, you could say.
So you're saying that Macy's Parade received more respect and support from the city administration than black people in the Harlem community?
Definitely, definitely, because the Macy's Parade had to last from like 12 to approximately like 6 o'clock, and here we are. This is something that's a part of history, and they shortened it up the time by 12 to 4, and how do you put it that way when it was, you know what I'm saying, much more extended time than that? I felt that it was a racial issue, and it went down, the way it went down, I feel it went down sort of okay and sort of not okay. because I feel there was a lot of anger and hate in the faces of the officers that was there. I saw snipers and everything else, and I just felt like, dag, all right, here I am. Should I be here marching, or should I be here, you know, worried if the cop is going to shoot me or not? That's how I felt.
Did you hear any helicopters or see any helicopters?
Yeah, the helicopters was something else because of the helicopters, I can barely hear what the man was saying on the stage. It was a lot of noise and a lot of anger, really frustrated going on. And I see like the cops, they really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? The way the signal that I was getting was like, they wanted it to be over as soon as 4 o'clock came. When it was over, that was it, you know? Everybody got up, moved the stuff, and let's go. That's how they put it, you know? And I felt it shouldn't have been that way at all.
What do you think is the solution for our people?
Solution is, I say that we should come together as people and, you know, go against racism and other acts of, you know, police brutality and a lot of other things, that we should come together and do it as a group, you know, because black people is not here for violence. I'm a black person myself, and I don't believe in violence, you know. I come together with people anyway. So I'm not a racist person either. I love white people too, you know, but I just feel that those people that are racist and, you know, have things against, they should be dealt with in a different manner.
Okay, do you believe in self-defense?
Yes, I do believe in self-defense.
So you don't confuse violence with self-defense?
No, you shouldn't confuse violence with self-defense. Violence is when something occurs and breaks out, and that's just violence. Self-defensive, if an officer pulls out his stick and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, come back at him with something because I'm just defending myself. So.
Well, especially if you know that you have not committed a crime and they just there to brutalize you. Some people would say, well, if you're committing a crime, you're saying that if you're a criminal, that a criminal has a right to self-defense. You know, so we have to understand that what we're saying is that when we talk about self-defense is that we have not committed the crime. People in uniform or out of uniform are committing a crime against us. We have God-given rights of self-defense.
That's right, that's right. I believe that also. I feel that just because they work with the department or the force, they shouldn't have any other rights over anybody, because I have also been, you know, not actually, you know, hurt or physically touched by a police officer, but the things that they say, you can just tell a racial slur. You can tell. You can tell it automatically.
Okay, I thank you, LaToya. And peace. Take care now. Okay now.
I gotta take a break.
Yeah.
Line over there. Oh, one more sister want to talk?
One more?
Okay.
Okay. Let us remember. Okay. What's your name?
Georgia Joe.
Who?
Georgia Joe.
Georgia. Peace. Job man. Okay, have Sister Georgia here. Sister Georgia, was you at the Million Youth March on September 5th?
Yes, I was.
What did you see and how did you feel about what you saw?
I seen mainly a lot of police with whips. There was snipers on rooftops over here. There was, I mean, it was such a big hassle. Even coming through that block, they was making it barricaded, so if anything was to go down, you'd be stuck right there in the middle of the street. They had blocks closed off. You could get off the block, but you couldn't get on the block. You had to have ID, and it was a really big hassle. I mean, it was so many police officers out here. I really didn't think that they got the message across that they wanted to in the first place. It was too many police, and why would they have whips? What did they need whips for? What are we, dogs?
You said they had whips?
Yes, I seen police officers with whips. Wire whips on the sides of them. I seen it.
That's a new one. You're the first one who even brought that. I mean, I was there. I saw nightsticks. I saw the snipers. I saw the helicopters. You're saying whips. What type of whips again? I just want to repeat this.
They were like little thin cords, like a whip, like something you would whip a dog with. And there was a lot of them right over here. And then it was like a little group of people that looked like Indian tribes or something. They had big feathers and stuff right over there. It was like 15 of them standing up against the wall, and they had whips.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to surprise me, especially when I'm on camera. How did you feel when you heard the helicopters?
I was kind of nervous. I thought we were gonna have a war or something. The way they was portraying it was like, oh yeah, if they get out of line, then sick them. You know what I'm saying? The mayor made it seem like, yeah, they get out of line. He had the police like guard dogs. It was just ready to attack us, and for what?
How was the crowd? Was the crowd peaceful?
When I was out here, they were. I know a lot of them were screaming Black Power and stuff like that, but I didn't stay towards the end, and in a way I'm glad I didn't, because a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of things about how it ended, and I'm glad that I got out of there while I could have, you know. But it was kind of, basically a lot of people were arguing at the police officers, like from time to time, because they like, well, what you mean? I live in this block and you telling me I need to show you ID so I can get to my apartment? And it was a lot of upset people out here. And once they really got into it and people started going towards the stage, I left. I'm like, oh, it's getting too rowdy for me. I'm leaving. And I just went home.
Do you have anything else you would like to offer?
I think, like I said, I think it was just a waste of time, because they didn't get the message across that they were trying to portray. And with being, you know, with the police and everything out here like that, they made it like, oh, okay, well, you get out of line, we gonna sick you. And then with the whips and everything, it made me kind of think about the old slave days. We didn't get anywhere. It was a waste of time, and that's how I feel about it. It was really a waste of time, because they didn't get no kind of message across or anything.
I think one of the messages that a person or any of our people would get is the type of arrogance and brutality that the police are capable of showing us even when we are peaceful. So what do you think is the solution to that type of social pollution?
I think if we got Giuliani out of office, we'd be a lot safer, and we'd have a lot of things going the way we wanted them to, because he never wanted us to have the march in the first place. And being that we kind of went above his head and had it done anyway, that's what made him have all these police and all these different officers and stuff out of here. And from what I understand, they cut down the march, and they minimized the blocks that we were supposed to march on and everything. And every time I talked to a police officer, and I talked to about 15 of them that day, because I was angry, I was cursing most of them out. And the main thing they were telling me was, blame Giuliani. It's not our fault. Blame Giuliani.
And I want to go on record. When I was here, I did see a woman with a CIA intelligence shirt on and a CIA intelligence baseball cap on. So the CIA was also out here. You have anything you need to say, sister?
I think that it makes me very nervous, because to think, if they had all of them out here that day, imagine what he's planning in his little office right now to do to us now. I mean, why you think they fixing up this avenue like this? They want to sell it to all the white people and raise the rent so high that the black folks can't afford to live here no more. So if we get him out of office, we'd be doing a lot better than we was last couple of years.
That's why when you heard Black Power, that's what the Black Power was about. Taking control of where you live, stop buying in all these white-owned stores and Korean stores, stop buying the Tommy Hilfiger and the Versace and all that, and start buying black. That's why he came out with the force he came out, because he don't want black people to wake up with a true sense of black power. It's not all about the fist, but sometimes you need the fist, but we need to uplift. Thank you, sister. Peace. Another one. Okay, we doing it. We doing it. Come on. Come on, sister. We love you. You're amongst brothers. We love you. Come on now. You might as well get the elder sister there too. What's your name, sister?
My name is Erna.
Erla?
Erna.
Erna?
Yeah.
Okay. Peace. I have Sister Erna here who has agreed to be interviewed. Sister Erna, were you at the Million Youth March on September 5th, 1998?
Yes, I tried my best to get to the march, and on my way to the march, I was very upset, very annoyed, because you know, I came with the intention to, you know, to listen to the brother, and Giuliani, you know, he tried his best to avoid me from getting there. He did whatever he can possible to get us, you know, from not listening to the brother speak. You know, he put all these barricades, you know, like a jigsaw puzzle for us, you know, that I guess he figured that, you know, time we get there or time we try to get to the march, you know, we're going to be annoyed and upset. But he started everything. He started the whole war, you know, by putting all these barricades and, you know, trying to tell us where to go, when to go, and how to go, you know. And, you know, that was very upsetting. That could get anybody upset.
So you're saying by way of the police, it was Giuliani?
Yes. it was their fault. They started the whole thing, you know, because a lot of brothers and sisters was upset. We couldn't get from one side of the street to the next side. You know, they block everything. That, you know, you couldn't go just to get to 118th Street. You have to go to 122nd and go around to 5th Avenue. And why? Just to get to hear someone speak, to say what they have to say, freedom of speech. I just couldn't understand it. I really couldn't understand it.
Now, what was your impression of most of the police officers that day?
Well, I really didn't run into any of them being, you know, I think they were doing their job because Giuliani is their boss, you know, but I wonder if Giuliani and David Duke sit and have lunch together. That's what I want to know. Because, you know, I don't understand this whole thing, you know. I really didn't understand it. Because if it was me, I would have really throw some chairs myself. You know, because I was really upset to the point of doing something.
Did you see the snipers on top of the roof?
No, I didn't notice that.
Did you hear the helicopters?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Did you see the police?
I was very annoyed, and they was flying low, maybe for us not to hear what the brother had to say. You know, I really was upset that day, really upset. I was very disappointed.
There was a lot of men, women, and children here too, and you.
A lot, and they was, you know, time you try to get to the march, the police is blocking you from you're in the center of the street and they blocking you from getting to hear the brothers speak. I just couldn't understand that. I don't know whether freedom, you know, what Giuliani thinks, you know, I really don't know. I really don't know.
Do you have any solutions for what we need to do, no matter whether Giuliani is in office or anyone who's worse than him is in office, or even anybody who's better?
Well, the people put him there. Well, what we have to do is just not vote for you know, for these type of people. You know, I guess when whoever brother, you know, a lot of people, a lot of our folks, like if Sharpton's gonna, you know, Sharpton trying to run, you know, we have to support people like Sharpton. You know, we have to support people like Jackson. You know, we have to support our people. You know.
What can we do immediately in our neighborhoods to make things better?
Oh, we have to get together. We have to, you know, we have to get together on a lot of things, a lot of issues. But if they trying to stop us from even speaking, you know, having a march, having a rally, we have to be strong. We have to stick together, and we can't always, you know. I guess Giuliani wanted us to make an outburst, you know, play up to his little tricks, you know. But these things that, you know, we have to go above those things, you know. You know, I don't know what else.
One last question. Do you feel that black people are better off now in 1998 than they were in 1988?
I wasn't here in 88, so I can't vote.
Do you feel that black people are better now in 1998 than they were in 1995?
Not much better, no. I don't feel so. I don't feel so. I think we have a long way to go in being together, you know, because for one, we don't, when you say together, I don't know if you mean it like politically, you know, because, you know, for one, you know, when we was voting for Al Sharpton, and you know, we was trying to get a votes out for Al Sharpton, a lot of folks didn't. You know, I thought we should have gotten a lot more done a lot more for him. You know, and it's just too much. I can't talk anymore.
Okay, thank you, sister.
All right.
Take care now.
Okay,
Peace.
thanks.
Okay, did you put your number or anything down? Okay, that way. You sure you don't want to you don't want the video? Take care. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Were you at the Million Man?
Yes, I was.
What did you see?
What I saw.
Give me a 3-minute answer.
What I saw, basically from the time that I arrived, was thousands of police officers already there. It seemed like they were confident. At the same time, they seemed like they were very noticeable of who was showing up, what they were wearing, things of that nature. In addition, I noticed that they were very edgy about us gathering in certain places that they disapproved of. They told us to move from a certain point and go across the street or go somewhere else. It got to the point where we felt that they were starting up with us when we didn't even do anything. Anyhow, to make a long story short, as the day proceeded, as the stage was set up, as more people arrived, it swelled up. And then we noticed that they had like these barricades. Of course, with my experience in the military, I knew that it was dealing with control. I recognized the New York Police Department to be a paramilitary, local paramilitary organization that basically handles what trickles down from the top. And what trickles down from the top is bigger than a Giuliani. Whether he realized it or not, whether he cared or not, whether he realized other people know it or not, he's just a peon, but he is an elite peon. Anyhow, dealing with our brothers and sisters, we were very respectful to each other. We were very loving to each other. There was men, women, and children, various ages. As far as I was concerned, it felt like, and from what I could see, there was like maybe 20,000 as far as I'm concerned. I noticed on the rooftops, there was police officers, snipers, binoculars, videotapes, 400 millimeter zoom lens cameras. It was, to me, because I'm aware of the objectives of the New World Order and their satanic agenda, I wasn't really surprised to see what I saw. All of it just reinforced all of my research. I just felt not frustrated, I felt kind of sorry for all the brothers and sisters who aren't really aware of the information, of the history of the people that we should be freeing ourselves from.
This is a song about your loyalty, about you remembering your brothers and your sisters and staying together with them. Oftentimes we are teased and lured away from folks that we've loved all our lives. Wedges driven between brothers and sisters and fathers and uncles and neighbors and friends. If you read it in the newspaper, you don't have to believe. What you need to do is ask yourself, how in the world do they know? They don't know nothing about your brother. Don't let them tell you about your brother. Make you turn your back on your brother. Don't even say, here, man is a soldier. Don't say nothing about the war going on. If you hear it on the radio, you don't have to believe. What you need to do is ask yourself, how in the world do they know? They don't know nothing about your sister. Ain't seen her out there trying to survive. They ain't never seen your sister's baby. One she's fighting to keep alive. They don't know nothing about your brother. They don't care nothing about your brother. Don't let them turn you against your brother. There's a war going on. There's a war going on. There's a war going on. People that you meet, they don't smile anymore. What you hear slamming door, hey, what's the deal? And out on the avenue, people looking so straight at you, make you wonder what you done, but you know you ain't the one. Hey, how you feel? And you heard a shot. Somewhere up the block, and as the sirens hit the air, you know you shouldn't be standing there, but you're inside. Now every house you go, news come on the radio, talking about the brother from the block. They say he's the one that done the shine. How in the world do they know? How in the world do they know? They don't know nothing about your brother. Don't let them turn you against your brother. Make you turn your back on your brother. War going on. Hey, your sister, your brother, your father, your mother, your uncle, your cousin, your next door neighbor, little information, please. They like to have a little information, please. All they want is a little information, please. War going on. They don't care nothing about your brother. They don't know nothing about your brother. Don't let them turn you against your brother. Propaganda war. Hey, they doing this, we doing that. We know that we under attack, fight back. And they doing this, we doing that. We know we been under attack, fight back. Seem like, hey, feel like war. Some kind of war going on. Feel like war. War going on. Come on, brother man, do it. people that you meet, they don't smile anymore, but you hear slamming door. Hey, what's the deal? And out on the avenue, people looking so strange at you, make you wonder what you done, but you know you ain't the one. Hey, how you feel? You heard a shot, somewhere up the blind. And as the sirens hit the air, you know you shouldn't be standing there, but you're inside. Now every house you go, news come on the radio, talking about the brother from the blind. They say he's the one that done the shot. How in the world do they know? How in the world do they know? They don't know nothing about your brother. And don't tell them nothing about your brother. Ain't no need to say nothing about your brother. Don't tell them nothing about your brother. Wait until you hear from your brother. Wait until you see about your brother. Don't say nothing about your brother. And don't tell them nothing about your brother. You ain't got to say nothing. You ain't got to say nothing. They don't know nothing about your brother.